Hello everyone, ItzzDivinity here, and today with a new episode on my series called Fire Mage Approach To. This time around, I'm going over a Mythic Plus video that we did, on the Mythic Plus dungeon that we did the other day. This is a Spires of Ascension 17, with the affixes Tyrannical, Inspiring, Necrotic, and Prideful, of course, because that's the seasonal affix at the moment. Before we go into the video, I'm quickly going to show you and talk about my conduits and talent setup. For Mythic Plus, you're almost the same as single target, but the only thing that we changed around is Conflict to Flame Patch, right? Flame Patch is a great addition to our damage because we're using Flame Strikes a lot during Mythic Plus. So that's also the reason why we're picking Master of Flame in our second conduit, because of the fact it just increases our radius of Flame Strike and the damage by Flame Strike by an additional 11%, which is really good. Yeah, so let's just jump into the video. And in Spires of Ascension, there's a lot of things that we can extra do as a mage to help out the group, right? So at the beginning, we're gonna... You can already see there's a Vanguard, right? A Vanguard with Inspiring. We can polymorph this, but we already communicated, okay, the tank is gonna, cage the Vanguard. So we didn't need to use our polymorph in order to CC him. Because of the fact we don't just want to kill these three together, what we're going to do is we're going to CC the Vanguard, and then afterwards we're just going to continue forward, make a big pool, and there is also where we're going to use our combustion, of course. We are saving our time warp because of the fact that the first boss is going to take a while since it's tyrannical, and we didn't feel the need of using time warp here, I'm pretty sure. So we actually interrupted the Goliath with the Sigil of the Demon Hunter. What I could have done better here is I'm using my shifting power way too late. That's because of the fact that I was really afraid of breaking out the CC from the Vanguard in the back, right? Since shifting power has an 18 yards radius, it can pull things by accident, which we don't want to have happening, right? So we're leaving the Vanguard CC'd for now because of the fact that there's another Inspiring mob over here, which I'm going to use my polymorph on. Keep in mind, polymorph is a 30 yards radius, right? Like, you can only polymorph enemies from 30 yards. It's not 40, so you need to be more careful about polymorphing. It did break out, so I'm trying to keep re-CCing the Mender. Because of the fact, we don't want this to in our pool. I'm quickly going back as well. Because the Mender, right? The Mender also buffs himself. As you can see right now, the Mender is buffing himself. We can spell steal this buff in order to let a weapon drop on the floor, which the tank or the melee DPS can pick up, and actually deals quite a lot of damage. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm also checking DPS meters after this to see how much damage it actually did. But it actually deals quite a significant amount of DPS and will really help you out overall on the run, because there are more Menders in this dungeon than you think there are. And if you spell steal each time that weapon away, it will also help out your tank. But at the same time, it's also helping out your melee DPS to pump even harder, or your tank if you don't have a melee, right? So we just quickly interrupt the Mender, we polymorph it, and we go back in again. At this point, we were like, oh, wait, Castigator and the Vanguards, they don't really have casts that you can, have to interrupt. So we just pulled the Mender and the Vanguard together. But then I actually kind of just fucked ourselves over, right? Because both Inspiring makes each other also immune to CC and everything else. So we're lucky. We just quickly focus down the Mender here to make sure that he is not going to be able to heal any targets to full again. So all in all, we should have kind of maybe would have been better if we waited a little bit before pulling. But that's what we did, basically. As you can see, this entire time I've also been holding my combustion, because of the fact that we got it halfway through the fight, and I know already a pack ahead is a big pack that needs to die quick. So having combustion for that is crucial, right? Because it needs to die very quickly, because there's a Goliath in it, there's a Mender in it, there's some really nasty trash minions in there, basically. So that's the reason why we're saving combustion. And as you can see, I'm opening it up right now, and this is the weapon that I talked about, right? The weapon that we can spell steal away from the Menders. It's got imbued weapon, and it actually did 30k damage. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still 5% of his damage, right? And if you can do this each time on every single Mender that you come across in Spires, it's actually going to help out a lot yeah, during the entire run, right? So this is something I try to focus on myself as well whenever we're doing this key, in order to, yeah, just maximize the amount of damage that we can do. And since the Mender here is again inspired, we have to CC him, so we're actually able to interrupt Goliath. What we're doing here is actually just waiting for some reason. Like, we're actually wasting time. We're not sure what to do. Like, if we wanted to pull it backwards or stay in the front. So in the end, we pulled it backwards. This is where we're going to combust as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is where we combust. So we just do our single, yeah, AoE rotation, I mean. Shifting power to do a lot of damage. Making sure that we always have Infernal Cascades 2 stacks up as well during shifting power. Because the fact, shifting power also scales with Infernal Cascade. Since Infernal Cascade is deal 25 increased % amount of damage during your combustion. So it's actually a really great tool to use shifting power during combustion, because of the fact that it actually deals a lot of damage. So what we're going to do is we're pulling the Mender together with the Prideful, because the Mender itself doesn't do a lot. The Mender got the weapon buff again. We instantly spell steal it. As you saw, the DK was also walking towards the Mender to instantly pick up that weapon to just help out overall on the damage on this, yeah, on this Prideful, basically. And yeah, during this Prideful, we're holding all our cooldowns, because the fact after this we have the boss, right? And the boss has a lot of HP because it's tyrannical. So we're kind of just taking this Prideful pretty risky, because of the fact that everyone is holding our DPS cooldowns to make sure that we can just kill the boss quickly. And since it's no longer grievous, Prideful isn't that scary anymore, as long as you just don't stun your healer with Prideful, of course. Otherwise, it's still going to be really dangerous, because the moment you fall behind on DPS and healing on the Prideful, mainly healing, it's going to be tough then for your healer to just back everyone up again. So as you can see, we're almost really low, but we managed to just pull through, right? We're going to always... What I always hate about this boss is all the trees around, right? As you can see, the trees are in the way. So I usually go to this side of the boss area, because there are no trees here. And we're just going to do our single target rotation, since the health is shared, right? So even if we're going full single target, it's totally fine, because we can just spread our ignite around to the snake as well. And by doing this, we actually, yeah, deal a lot of damage. As you can see, the dot is actually hurting a lot. So I had to use a health potion at the beginning of the fight as well. Our healer died as well because of this dot. So we had to battle res him in order to, yeah, not wipe and waste our Prideful plus Bloodlust, which would basically have meant that this key is over, right? We always want to try to stand behind Azulus whenever he's shooting out these orbs. Because if you just stand behind him when he's shooting out these orbs, you're never going to be able to get hit by those, right? As you can see, we don't have to walk behind him now, because of the fact that we are already looking. Okay, the orbs are just going to the left, so we are never in danger of actually getting hit by those orbs. So just holding our Fire Blast charges right now, since we are almost having our combustion up. And the moment he falls below 30%, I instantly start combusting. What I should have done, right, since he was so close to 30% already, I should have actually just cast the Scorch 5 times in order to get 5 stacks of Fever Incantation, and then combust. Because then it would have meant that I would have been doing an additional 15% during my entire combustion, instead of only the later part of combust. And right now, you can't see it, but yeah, I just got a follow, so since I'm rewatching a VOD, right, it's something we kind of just have to deal with at the moment. But yeah, as you can see, this boss fight alone is already taking quite some time. So we're just gonna wait. And there we go, boss is dead. We usually go to the left, and afterwards we go to the right, in order to not have to deal a lot of, yeah, to clear a lot of trash after the third boss. Because we want to have Prideful for each and every boss, except the third one, since the third one already takes long, and has a specific damage window that you need for it. It's fine to not have Prideful for it. Right now, I'm trying to fish for a crit, so I can use my, yeah, hot streaks on it, because I was holding also my Fire Blast charges. I should have just used 2 charges of Fire Blast, since it's totally fine, because it's bad to hold onto your Fire Blast charges in the hope of getting a crit, right? But yeah, the moment ads fall below 30%, we instantly go over to using Scorch to get easy hot streaks, into Flame Strikes, into Flame Patch damage, which just deals a lot. This one is actually really spicy, since those skirmishers actually jump away, right? So what happened here, actually, is we're using Combustion, but because we have to use it early, because as you can see, they're already jumping away. So what we do is just instantly switch over from AoE to single target, and we're just focusing down this skirmisher that's far away. Since the reason why I'm doing this actually is just because of the fact I'm afraid of if I get closer to those other ads that they might jump in the other pack that we don't want to pull, right? So since this skirmisher jumped backwards here now, it's totally fine. Just quickly clicking on the health stones again to refresh all my health stones that I have. Because we use health stones a lot during Mythic Plus actually, so having a Warlock in our group is actually really helpful. Because it's just basically another defensive cooldown that we can use. And alright. So here there are a lot of stealthies. What we need to be careful of is not get hit. So we need to wait for our tank to get aggro over all those stealthies, and then we can start, right? Because if we just run in blindly, we're just instantly gonna get slapped, right? The reason why I use Drangerbread there as well is because the fact that our tank got stunned, our tank got stunned, right? So we just used Drangerbread in order to just disorient those minions for a second. This is actually the annoying part about hardcasting Flame Strikes, right? Because of the fact that the tank is kiting, it's really difficult to land our Flame Strikes. So right now I'm just starting over to Combust. The moment our tank dies, I combust it, which is kind of unfortunate because I'm losing out on a lot of Flame Strike damage because of that. But the good thing I'm doing, I saw this happening, and my brain instantly went, okay, I just need to kite backwards, because if I would have died there as well, the entire pack would have resetted there, and yeah, we would have just lost so much time on this. We would have not have any cooldowns for this either. So I just keep kiting backwards with Scorch, since the ads are below 30% as well. This isn't even that bad for us, because we just get really easy hot streaks, right? The only issue that we have right now is the Prideful spawns really far away from the place where we need to go up. So what we're doing is getting stunned. This is stupid from me. I saw this coming, but I still walked just straight into it. I should have just waited, not getting greedy. And as you can see, we're trying to pull this towards the area where we're planning to go to, right? So we just don't lose as much time on Prideful as what we had. So we're just waiting. And now we're probably going to move again, I think. Or not. Yeah, we're just slowly kiting it towards the place where we have to fly. And we saw that the Warlock there had the Prideful debuff. And now we can just easily walk because he's about to die. Otherwise, we're just going to use our health pot, since we already used our health stone, of course. I actually got really lucky here. I almost broke my Cauterize because of the fact that I was lining my healer above the stairs, right? It's also really important to think about each time there's a Prideful up, if you're actually line of sighting your healer or not. If you're line of sighting your healer during Prideful, you're kind of just screwing yourself over, right? Because of the fact that you're not able to get healed, and that's the main part. So since we have Combustion, there are 3 ads, we're just going full all out on Combustion here. It's kind of sad because they noticed, hey, we're actually killing this quite fast. So they said, okay, we're going to change pool this. If I knew this beforehand, that we're just going to chain pool, I would have waited with using my Combustion, right? Because those Goliaths are more dangerous than the trash pack before. So what I should have done here, actually, is because of the fact that we had Prideful, I should have known already that the trash pack was going to die quickly. I should have just waited using my Combustion on those 2 Goliaths. Because of the fact that we have 2 range, so it's going to be difficult to always interrupt those Goliaths. So I should have just saved my Combustion for these big boys, big chonkers, basically. And we're interrupting. Since we're ranged, I usually look at being the backup interrupts, right? The moment I don't hear the melee call out that they can interrupt, or I see that the melee is not going to interrupt, I'm the backup person. Since we have a 24-second long cooldown on our interrupt, and the melee has like 15, and they get runic power from it, since he's using Conduit or something about it. And same thing goes with Demon Hunt, right? He just gets Fury from it. So this guy has Inspiring. I told him I got Combustion, so we just pulled it. I combust, and we just blast. I'm already pre-casting my Pyroblast because we know we're gonna pull this. What I'm gonna do here, right, is actually full single target down this Inspiring guy, because the fact that the snakes, like the flying snakes, they still deal a lot of damage, even on tyrannical weeks. with their Venom cast. So we just wanted to kill the Inspiring guy as fast as we can in order to be able to interrupt those casts, right? So it's totally fine to, even though there is a trash pack that has 4 mobs or 3, right? But there's a target that needs to die quickly. It's totally fine to use your combustion to just burst down that one priority target. Since combustion basically, for me, deals around 200k damage during my combustion, right? So I know this. And it's something you should maybe think about yourself as well. How much damage can I pump out on single target during one combustion? Because if you know how much damage you can kind of do during a combustion, you can already plan ahead on in yourself. Be like, okay, can I burst this target down fast enough? Because it's a priority target. So now we're just hard casting flame strikes on this. Since, yeah, that's basically what you do as a fire mage if you have nothing else to do. You just hard cast flame strikes. The good thing is, right, the healer is not, the tank's not walking away. And there's also a minion that casts the imbued weapon again, right? So we instantly spell stealed it. And as you can see, this time around, the infused weapon actually dealt quite a lot, right? I spell stealed it away. It's his top damage. And because of the fact that we spell stealed it, right, we actually just dealt an additional 75k to a minion. Even though it's not our DPS, it's still because of us as a mage that we can spell steal it, that we dealt an additional 75k. Because if we didn't do it, we would have never gotten that buff, right? So it's something to really take into consideration. The moment you see something that you can just spell steal it. Except in the other side, there are a few minions that you cannot spell steal, because if you do that, you're just going to die at the end. But I'm going to go over that the moment I have a video ready for the other side. So the patrol just went away, so we're just like, okay, we got to pull this. We got to pull it back. Since we don't want to have the patrol together with this. And as you can see, we're just on the lookout, seeing if we need to interrupt something. We saw the Venom almost going through. And that's what I interrupted. So we're guiding it backwards, so we don't accidentally pull the patrol that's going to come in a second. We didn't have any interrupt for this Goliath, so that hurt quite a lot. We're using shifting power to just reset our cooldowns a bit faster. And so we can also use our combustion again in like any second. So something that's stupid from us right now. We pulled instantly, but someone accidentally dotted the Inspiring guy. So what I'm thinking, right, because the fact I know how much damage I can do during combustion, I'm actually going to pause this right here, because this is something very important that I didn't do during this pull. So because of the fact that an Inspiring mob got pulled, and I had my combustion, but there was a lot of minions, I was like, I could just burst down this Inspiring guy so fast, because it only has like 120k HP. I know that I do around 200k single target during one combustion in Mythic Plus, right? So I was like, I'm gonna go full ham, single target into the Inspiring ad. But what ended up happening is, as you can see, it got pulled. So I was ready to combust, but as you can see, it got cycloned. I didn't knew this, so I didn't saw this happening. We didn't communicate it either, but I should have paid more attention to that. It might have, since we're running a druid, right, that it might have a chance of getting cycloned. Because you can cyclone it, but the effect of Inspiring still goes through all the other ads around him. So it's not really helpful to cyclone him if he's already in the trash. So, but what I should have done here, I used combustion. I didn't see that he got cycloned. So as you can see, I'm using all my single target DPS into the Inspiring guy. And I'm losing like so much time on my combustion. I don't have any charges left anymore for my combustion either. So I just basically wasted my combustion into a target that could have not even get any damage. And because of this pull is really spicy. Using alter time as well. Because the fact that I saw that I got tagged, right? Because I was getting attacked. And the moment I get aggro, I always try to kite using a health pot. And we got into a pot ourselves. Good thing we had a battle rest ready for our tank. So we could just rest him. So not a whole lot really happened. But it was really close to a wipe. As you can see. So it's something that I learned from it. I need to pay attention if you're playing with the druid. That he might just cyclone a target that is like maybe a priority, right? So after this, we also talked about it a little bit. Like, yo, if something like this happens again, just don't cyclone the target again, because the fact that if I have combustion, I'm just bursting it down so fast that it isn't really an issue that it's inside of the group, right? So since the squad leader deals a lot of damage and is like helping out, like the squad leader has a aura around him that is basically the same as the Plague Fall slime, that he is like giving an aura to him, to the allies near him. So AoE damage is decreased by 75%. Single target damage is still fine, but AoE damage is decreased by 75%. This counts for your Phoenix Flames as well. So it's just best to single target focus down the pack leaders whenever there is one. Because if you're just going to start AoEing, you're losing out on so much damage. As you can see, on the next pack, I actually remember this now. On this next pack, I'm just using combustion single target. Because the fact if I use it right now, I'm probably going to have it again before the boss. Since we're also going to get Prideful after this. So I'm just hardcasting Pyroblast, hoping to get it in. I'm just committing right now. And we just full single target combustion this. So the squad leader actually just dies really quickly. And after that, we can just cleave everything down with AoE without any issues. And since the pack leader is alive, our Phoenix Flames barely deals any damage, right? So our Ignite also barely deals any damage. As you see, the champion also casted the infused weapon again. So what we do, the moment it comes up, we instantly spell steal it away. So our DPS or tank can use it in order to do DPS. Increase DPS, which is basically counted towards us, right? So just those small things. What I do notice, I barely interrupted on this pack at all. So I just let so many casts through that I potentially actually, if I used an interrupt at the beginning of this pool, I would have probably been able to interrupt it again at the end of the pool. So I kind of forgot to interrupt anything at all during this fight. So that's kind of stupid. And because the fact that I knew, right, that we were going to have Prideful after this, it was fine to combustion at the start of the fight. Because as you can see, 10 seconds left for our combustion. The boss is going to be pulled after this, so we're going to have all our major cooldowns ready for the boss fight. And the next boss fight is actually, in my opinion, the most dangerous one in this entire dungeon, because the fact, if it takes too long, there is no way that you're going to be able to dodge all of the balls that's going to be happening. And you're going to be see that in a few seconds as well, the moment we actually start pulling the boss. Because in the end, there are going to be so many orbs that you need to dodge during this recharge. That's actually going to be dangerous. So we're time warping instantly. We're just going to the middle. Just go to potion as well. And now we just go full on our single target authorization as combustion, right? Always making sure that we have 2 stacks in Infernal Cascade. That's very important. Because the fact that it's dealing so... If you don't have that, you're losing out on so much damage. So I actually learned in this dungeon, Blinding Flash is not an ability that you have to look away from. I thought I had to look away from the ability Blinding Flash because of the fact that if an ability is called Blinding Flash, I assume that it's just an AoE code, like an AoE ability, that if you look at the target, that it actually deals, that it's actually going to CC you the moment you look into it. So as you can see, I'm always looking away on this boss fight. So that's something I learned from this. And as you can see, I'm not paying attention to the boss that much. I'm mainly just looking, where are these orbs coming from? Where are they coming from? And make sure to dodge them. As you can see, our healer got hit by it, and he just instantly got into a pot. I saw that I was not going to be able to dodge that orb. So the moment I knew I was not going to be able to block it, I just instantly ice blocked it in order to negate all the damage that I was getting. Yeah, I would have gotten from it. Right now, I'm trying to see a position where I can stand, so I don't get hit by anything at all, and I barely have to move, right? So my combustion is up again. As you can see, I'm looking away. Don't do this. It's only a frontal cone, so the moment you stand behind it or next to it, you're totally fine. So now there are a lot of orbs again. So what we're going to do, I see there's a safe space over here. So I'm just going to go here because I can see all the orbs coming towards me now. So it's a lot easier for me to dodge. But since I'm stupid and I'm not a smart person, I see these orbs, the boss is dead. I'm like, hey, I can go in it now. But you still get damaged after the boss is dead by those orbs. So you need to make sure to just still keep dodging those orbs even though the boss is dead. But something that I learned throughout this fight, because I asked the people as well afterwards, that the Blinding Flash is not a stun around you. I thought it was always a stun, but that's apparently not the case. So I learned this out on the 17. don't be like me that you keep looking away. You just need to be behind the boss in order to not get hit by it, because it is actually a frontal cone. So if you're standing in front of it, that's the only reason whenever you're going to get hit by it. But otherwise, you're totally fine. So we usually try and skip this minion. I just quickly looked up Blinding Flash as well, the ability. I usually just invest this guy because I'm afraid of accidentally pulling it. This time around, I didn't pull it, but our tank accidentally pulled it by himself. So what we decided to do, instead of wiping, we're just like, okay, we can just kill this, and we're going to be able to skip a trash pack later. And because of the fact that I know this ad has a lot of HP... Oh, I just got another follow as well, Fools CS, thank you for the follow. But yeah, I just used Combustion on this guy because of the fact it has like 500k HP. I know we're going to skip the next pack ahead as well. So I'll be having my Combustion back in a relatively short time anyway. So I'm just quickly going to use my Combustion on that guy because it's not a big deal. If you're a pet class, always make sure to be mounted up or dismiss your pet whenever you're jumping off here. Because of the fact, if you're not mounted, your pet is actually going to pull aggro and you're just literally just going to int the key. The amount of time that it happened to us, not in Spires of Ascension, but in other dungeons, is way too much. And because of the fact that we know, we have enough percentage because of the fact that we accidentally pull guy at the front, we're going to skip the next trash pack and we're just going to kill all these... 4 Sworns, basically. And since we have DK using Slappy Hands, they're all going to get in to the group. I instantly just pressed Alter Time, because the fact, like, if you get hit by 3 spears, you're almost dead, and then I can just Alter Time back again, right? So I already just thought ahead, okay, maybe I need to use Alter Time in order to just help out my healer in case if I get hit by a lot of spears in a row. But as you can see, we're just waiting right now. We're going to pull the other 4 Sworns as well. And we're going to be lining it behind this pillar, because that way they all just stack up automatically. I do have Combustion ready, because I know we're going to do the boss afterwards. I'm not going to combust. So I'm just holding on to my Combustion. Since these ads die fairly quickly anyway, like they have 50k HP, I'm just using some Fire Blast charges to just start this, right? To just kill this with Flame Strikes. I might have not... It is not the smartest that I actually used all of my Fire Blast charges, because of the fact that whenever we're going to pull the boss now, I don't have all 3 ready for my Combustion. I'm already placing a marker where we're going to stack up for when the orbs are spawning, right? Because something that I like to do on this boss fight is helping out the healer and the tank by soaking the first set of orbs. Because of the fact that the dot itself is taking really hard on the tank, on Tyrannical, it's just really good to use your utility as a mage to use your Ice Block in order to just block them all. As you can see, we're just stacking them all neatly together. I'm going to be placing down a new marker to where we stand. So since I know where I need to stand for my Ice Block in order to soak them all, right? So in any second now, I'm going to be placing a new marker. So the orbs are going to go into a straight line into the boss. So I can just soak all of the orbs that are going to be spawning. Yeah, after we are going to get into the intermission, right? I think I'm going to be marking it. I didn't mark it, actually. Yeah, I marked it way too late. But good thing, everyone anticipated this already. So they instantly just went to the correct place. I got really close by this one. As you can see, I had 1k HP. I should have used my health stone here. Because if the healer didn't instantly heal me, I would have just died. Since both Cauterize and my Fault are on cooldown. And as you can see, I'm already waiting. So, just going to pause it quickly right here. So the moment the boss is casting Recharge Anima is the moment these orbs are going towards the boss. And I already told them at the beginning, yo, I'm going to be ice blocking the first set of orbs that are coming towards the boss. I'm quickly going to go back a little bit, because as you can see, I already am positioning, because I know Recharging Anima is about to happen. I'm already positioning myself on the best possible place in order to soak all of the orbs. I'm waiting with Ice Block until the last second, because the fact that you're not able to soak everything with Ice Block, right? So, as you can see, I'm just hoping that everything is hitting right now, because some of them are getting fairly close. We're not cancelling out, and we managed to soak, 8 out of the 10 orbs. which is amazing. The only issue with me doing the first set of orbs, right, is I'm missing out on an entire combustion increased damage phase. So only after the moment the orbs are gone, I'm able to combust, and I'm missing out on a lot of damage. And as you can see, I placed the marker already for the blast that is about to come again. Because the next set we're not able to soak, so we're just placing them correctly and neatly again. So for the next set, the tank can just soak them easily, and no one has to deal with it, right? I'm already placing the marker again where we need to soak, because we just want them to as close as possible together, right? So a Rune of Power into Shifting Power to just reset some cooldowns. Using 2 Fire Blasts because of the fact that I was going to overcap otherwise. And yeah, then we just keep casting until we get our combustion again. So the next set of orbs are going to be coming right now. Just walk off them out again. So what I do remember from this boss fight myself is I hold onto combustion for ages here because of the fact that I thought we were going to get the intermission anytime now. So I just kept holding onto my combustion. What I should have done is just instantly use combustion here again, because of the fact the boss is always only going to spawn 10 orbs in total. And that's his main source of draining his energy. Outside of that, he's like, as you can see, we're already stacking up as well, because we thought he was going to do it any second now. But he always is only going to spawn 10 orbs in total. And since the orb's ability is draining most of his energy, we expected it to happen. As you can see, at this moment, I was just like, oh, fuck it. I'm just holding it on my combustion way too long. So I'm using it in order to, yeah, just deal additional damage. But of course, because of this, now he's down and we don't have combustion. The moment he falls below 30%, we are using Scorch immediately to just increase the amount of damage that we're going to do against this. I don't know exactly why I pressed mirror images here, because the fact mirror images barely deal any damage. It's more of a defensive in Shadowlands than it was in BFA, since we didn't even have it in BFA, right? But from what we're used to. So I use mirror images during an intermission that increases the amount of damage on the boss, which I should have not done. I should have just used it the moment I got like Purifying Blast on me or something else, or just when I don't have anything else to cast. And yeah, this boss actually takes quite a while. But as you can see, I really like to use our Ice Block in order to help out the entire party. So the tank is not getting the nasty debuff at the start of the fight. But after this, I also started thinking, is it not maybe better for me to soak it on the second part? But then again, since if I use combustion, the moment comes off cooldown again, I'm not going to be able to use combustion during the second intermission on energy recharge, right? So I think it's actually better if your tank and the healer agrees to this, of course. It's actually probably better to use Ice Block to soak the second set of orbs that are going to spawn instead of the first one. Because we just basically didn't do any extra damage on the first set of energy recharge. So we lost out on a lot of damage. So so how we usually deal with these mobs, we usually pull the middle, then the left one, and then the right one very last. And as you can see, this one is the easiest for us as DPS. Just don't be in front of it because he deals a frontal. But the longer this guy is alive, we're also getting a debuff that deals X amount of damage. Like that is a debuff that if you get hit... Okay, sorry, I'm just going all over the place now. This debuff is a debuff that increases the amount of damage taken the moment you get hit, right? So only the tank really need to pay attention to this debuff. And yeah, we don't really... Because if we get hit by the frontal, we're dead anyway. So just don't get hit by the frontal, I would say. This is the only one also that's having this debuff. So the moment everything's dead, we're going to the left one. And basically, since these ads have so much HP, I just use combustion the moment it comes off cooldown, right? Like, as you can see, they have like 700k HP. So I'm also using mirror images here, because I don't have anything else really to cast. So I'm always looking at the spear as well, to see where these explosions are going towards, right? Since there's not a clear indicator where those explosions are going to, I'm always just looking at the spears. Okay, where are they going to? Like, I know, okay, this line is going this way, but the other line, okay, so by standing on the same spot as before, I'm still standing on the safe space. Now we get a spear on this as well. For some reason, our healer got hit there, which is really weird, right? Because as you can see, he wasn't even standing in it anymore. But maybe it was something with latency. But this guy's dead. And now the next guy is going to be the most dangerous of them all. So if you have any cooldowns left, you should use it on this guy. If it's a fortified week, I recommend to actually just bloodlust this guy as well. Because the faster this guy is dead, the better it is. Because this guy on fortified is more scary. The last guy that's alive is more scary than the boss itself. So I highly recommend, if it's fortified week, to just bloodlust and just blast the living shit out of this guy. Because it deals so much damage. Because you have debuff as well that you take increased damage, right? And you get a debuff that deals damage over time. So this is a really rough boss. Well, it's not even a boss, right? It feels like a boss. It's a really rough minion to kill, even on tyrannical weeks. So if you have any cooldowns to spare, you should use it. I myself am actually holding combustion because we did talk it through. Okay, we're gonna have Prideful after this with all of these debuffs as well. So the Prideful cannot be alive for that long either. So as you can see, our healer is tranking. He's always standing on me, so he doesn't have to look where the safe zone is, right? So he can just focus on healing, and that way he is able to heal more, right? So Prideful spawning, we have combustion, and what we're gonna do is just combust this guy, I think. Or am I holding it? I'm not sure, right? No, okay. I already was like, if I was holding my combustion here, I would definitely should have used it over here. Because the fact that we're going to bloodlust the second time the boss is coming down. We're not using it on the first time, I think. Or maybe we are on tyrannical. But that's something I kind of forgot. So he falls below 30%, and we just instantly cast Scorches. We just keep, getting the most value out of it, right? And Prideful is dead. So the moment he's dead, we instantly go to the boss to not lose any amount of time at all. I'm not sure if we're actually going to bloodlust. Don't think so. The one thing I really hate about this boss is the wings in the background from the angel. As you can see on the left right now, and as you can see, I'm just getting blocked by it. And it's really, really, really annoying. So I recommend to just try and look somewhere else. And as you can see, we just got a new follower as well. Hello, thank you for the follow. It's something just taking the screen for a bit as well. So on this boss, you always want to dodge run through. The moment you get hit by run through, you're just dead. And you don't want to place the orbs, the zones that's dropping from the debuff either into the zone, because you need to get in there the moment abyssal detonation is happening. If you're outside of the zone, you're just dead. So every single ability is just basically one shot on this boss. And since we know, okay, he's going to phase in like 10%, we're just going to use our combustion, because the fact that's going to be up very fast anyway. Oh, it's phasing at 80%. But it's fine, because I did still manage to get my full combustion on it, right? The only thing is, my ignite isn't doing that much damage anymore. So what we do is a great thing I really like to do, right? I'm just going to quickly go back again. With these orbs, I like to go as far as I can to take up the furthest orb. And by doing this... Oh, 1 second. Because of the fact I know that I'm going for the furthest orb, I place my alter time on the spear, right? Because the moment I get the orb, I can just alter time back and instantly get the spear again, so it helps out the party. As you can see, I'm going for the furthest one on the left. I'm just blinking to it, and just click alter time again in order to instantly dunk down the orb. And as you can see, everyone already did their orbs as well, so we're done. We usually have our tank doing this, but if you're the one throwing this spear, I highly recommend to just wait for the boss to move before you throw the spear. As you can see, these angel wings are really annoying, and they're always in the way on this fight. So we just try to stand somewhere where we don't have that issue. But still, even here, we get some wings. So we get run through again, and we just need to dodge it. But yeah, just again, if you're the one that needs to throw the spear, just wait a few seconds. It's fine to wait a few seconds until the boss moved. Because if you miss the spear, it's just a wipe. There's no way you can recover, right? As you can see, I almost got hit by run through here. I don't know why. I started to go right, and then I go left. And right now, pistol detonation is about to come up. We know this. We have combustion. We have all our charges ready. We have our potion as well. And we just blast right now. We're just blasting the boss with combustion. Since it's going to phase in about 5%. I think it was 40 on this boss. I think it's 80, 40. So I'm not sure. But yeah, the spear itself also deals X amount of percent health damage to the boss itself. So This boss seems really tanky, but each time you use a spear, it also deals a lot of damage. So run through again. We need to make sure to dodge this. Our Warlock almost died of this, so we just really glad that he didn't die. We still had a combat rest already, but we knew the moment we just don't fuck up anything on this boss, we knew, okay, we're gonna time it. So we're just standing near the zone, the safe zone already. As you can see, the wings are in the way again, so I instantly switch my camera angle. I get run through, and because I know I had run through, I just blinked away into a random area because I didn't see where the run through where I was gonna go, where the boss was standing because of the wings. I just blinked out it to make sure that I was fine. Okay, so it's actually 80% and 30%. Sorry about that, giving misinformation. So what I'm doing again, using all the time, going for the furthest orb, like the first time, and we just all the time back again. And because the fact that we already used, soaked all of the orbs, I just ice blocked, because there's no need to use ice block anywhere else on this fight unless you make a big mistake. As you can see, the boss actually got a 10% hit from the spear as well, and we got combustion again, and we just blast. I'm actually going to rewatch it a little bit because I'm not sure if I went for the 5 stacks on Fever Incantation first. Let me check. Scorch. So that's 3 stacks, that's 4 stacks. Yeah, okay, so I actually did. So I actually went and got 5 stacks of Fever Incantation before I combusted, which is just a, flat out 50% damage boost on your combustion. So that's just really helpful, right? And after this is done, we're already standing close to the safe zone. We get in there, and we just walk out again for the lost confidence, because this is the debuff that leaves shit on the ground. So you just don't want to be in there. Just gonna stand in Magic Shell, instantly move out because Rune Through is quite near us. And after that, boss is dead. And we managed to get a anima powers. So we didn't really get anything out of this run besides score, which is really fine, right? Like, we were already really glad that we managed to time this dungeon in time. And I got 3 pieces of loot, because the fact that each time you complete a dungeon above a 15, on 16 you have 20% to get an additional item, on 17 it's 40%. So we got lucky and we managed to get a 3rd item. So that's really nice. From this dungeon, we got Sanguine Depths. And we were really not happy about that, since Sanguine Depths is the worst dungeon in our opinion. It's the worst one on every single week. Because the fact the trash is really scary on Fortified, the bosses are awful and tyrannical, so it's something we really didn't like. But basically, that was this video. This was my approach to Spires of Ascension as a Fire Mage. So I hope this was helpful for someone out there, like knowing some things that you learned something from this run. That would be amazing. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you liked or learned something out of it, please leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. And I also live stream this on twitch.tv/ItzzDivinity. And you can just come and hang out there with us, doing some keys, having some chats, having just some banter. It's a really fun experience for me. So I want to thank you all again for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.